We are going live. Hey, good morning. It is the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. It's about 6:03 a.m., not quite 5 a.m., but I was watching a YouTube program on what their new changes are, so I figured I'd watch that real quick. And it's the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. And I'm Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach, and I hope you're doing well today. It is a Friday, which means we're doing Fortune Cookie Friday, so we're going to do that later today. And we do this show so you talking about Agile and Scrum in a practical and tactical way, so we can create value to our customer and get home at a decent time. And have some fun along the way, right? That's the idea. So I don't know. I'm debating whether I do, because as I do look earlier lives, I get less views on the show. But do I really care about views? I do and I don't. I don't know if we're gonna make these premiere things or something to broadcast later. I'm not sure. I try something. Anyway, so what we're going to talk about today. So that's just my thoughts, just talking out loud at 5 a.m. or 6 o'clock in the morning. Today, I want to talk about a couple things. I want to talk about safe PI Timebox, and it really arbitrary, which people don't get it. They make it such an important thing, and it's just a time box. But we won't talk about what about it. And then the secret sauce for Scrum Masters. Use it to work with PBIs or issues or whatever you would like to call them. And how I work teams through which level of documentation or work breakdown that I necessarily do with teams depending on how they do. So I'm going to share that little secret with you. And it's pretty much the secret for any Scrum team, anywhere, in any industry, and anything you do. So I'm going to share it. I will break it down to a smaller piece later on. So let's start with safe. And then we're going to do Fortune Cookie Friday. Because we always want to see if the Fortune Cookie talks about the show we had or talks about other things. Safe PI Timebox. People don't understand it's an arbitrary time. There's nothing significant about the time box, but just a time box, a place to put stuff in, to give you an idea of a beginning and a stop point in your activities. What everybody tries to turn it into is a critical, oh my God, the world's coming to an end date. And they do the same thing with sprint time boxes too. But I want to talk about the safe PI box. And it becomes oh my God, the world's falling to an end. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not that critical. It's a date. It's not a date. What people don't get when they get so far removed from the world, dates are only critical if you're going to give something to the customer. That's the only date that's critical. Arbitrary dates as you pick stuff up or what you're doing is not a critical adventure. And the customer can also be another team. So I'll make that clarification. So sometimes there's dates when you hand off something you created to another team that's going to use what you created to build something to go to the customer. But just the date itself, it's not significant. And I'm going to say, what did I write down here? The only critical dates in code is the date you drop your code. That's the critical date. PI dates are not critical. Time box for PIs are not critical. They're good to have, and they help you formulate your thought process and what you want to get done in a reasonable amount of time. It helps you shape that structure, but it's not a world end. If I don't get all this stuff done in this PI, the world's going to come to an end. Well, no, the world come to an end when you tell 50 million people that you're going to do something and you don't do it, and you miss the date, then the world's going to come to an end. Okay, so let me ask you. So I said that the date is really critical when you drop code. PI dates, typically quarters or every 3 or 4 months, depending on how you do it. So sometimes places use 4 months, some people use 3 months. So let's say it's 3 months. 3 months is 90 days. So are you dropping code every 90 days? Every 6 months? How often are you dropping code? In the Agile world, we want to drop it out as much as possible, as soon as possible, get in the customer's hands and get feedback, right? We want that feedback loop. We want that empirical data on what's going on. So if you're dropping code every 90 days, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Leave that up to you. I know what I think it is, but that's another story. I have organizations that are, dropping code monthly, weekly, daily, some places hourly, which scares the crap out of me sometimes, but yeah, okay. So if your organization is really doing monthly drops or every 2 weeks, like in a sprint, you do your code and at the end of the sprint, if everybody agrees to it, then you drop it in the next sprint. You just produce the code, no big deal. So if that's the case, that's the critical date. PI date is not a critical date. So I just want to make that clarification. A lot of people overthink these dates as critical. I mean, unless your organization gears up that says, after the PI is over, we're going to release the code that we have. But again, I would say, really, it takes you 90 days to really 90 days to get any code out into production. Is that a good thing? I would say no, especially in this world where everybody's out there trying to find a way to make money and deliver new products sooner, quicker, because they're not out there in the world, so everything's virtual. So everybody's expecting this real fast turnaround time. So just to be careful and just think about those PI dates. Okay, so now the secret sauce for being a Scrum Master. So if you're up early, you can see this. Actually, it's recorded on YouTube, and then I post on LinkedIn also. You can watch it anytime you want. But I wonder if the LinkedIn algorithm is not sharing the links to this stuff out to the YouTube world as much as they used to. So we'll have to think about that, what we want to do. Whiteboard. So what is the secret sauce? What am I talking about? What are you talking about, Greg? Managing and promoting and working with teams. So many debates are out there. Do we do stories? Do we do tasks? Do we track hours, Greg? Do we track points? What do we got to do? And project managers that become Scrum Masters or project managers that now run, or PMOs that now run Agile operations, they so want to track hours. I'm like, well, that's what a timesheet's for. In your timesheet, you put your hours. Unless you got multiple projects, and I understand how many hours you want to do per project, but then I would argue from a project standpoint, your team's doing too many projects. Two's enough, right? Because you want to get it done in the hands of the customer. If you do 25 projects at the same time in the same week with the same team, your work's going to take a year to get out the door. So what good is that to the customer? Nothing. Okay. So here's the idea. So I come into a team. We rate stories. It's a requirement. We call it a story. This is no big deal. So we got a story. Okay. I'll put a little box in here. Now my question in the first sprint. Are they getting all the stories done? There's a lot of stuff getting undone. So first sprint. So this is the first sprint. Okay. First sprint. And my question to you, I get a delta. Are they getting all the stories done in the sprint? If yes, stick with stories. Yes. Getting work done. Right? Getting work done. If no, then we go to tasks. First or second sprint. Okay. So now they're not getting the work done in the sprint, the 2-box period, 2-week period time box. So now I say, hey, maybe you need to break it down tasks so we can see how we're doing, break down the ideas, getting them to start thinking about the issue at hand and how to make it more refined and more knowledgeable, and just get them thinking about it more before they start doing it. So we do tasks. And then you ask yourself another question. And yes. Oops. Yes. So yes, they're, let's say at the end of the sprint, let's say third or fourth sprint. Okay. So we do this third and fourth sprint. Are they getting the task done? If the answer is yes, are tasks done? Then you're good. That's all you need to track. Say I got some tasks, I broke it down. They're getting the work done, which if it's all the tasks are getting done in the sprint, therefore all the stories are going to be getting done in the sprint too. See how that works? So once that goes, now the next question is, if the answer is no, then you start talking about hours. Okay. And the way you use hours is say, okay, what's trying to estimate? Maybe this work is too much. So you start using the hours to say, do we have enough capacity to do this work, right? Hopefully at this point in time, we get more yeses. We get a yes. Let me go back. If it's no, then you got a lot of problems. I'll tell you that right now. If it comes 2 weeks, you can't estimate how much work to do when you get down to the hour point. After about 3, this will be the 5th, the 6th week, 6th sprint. If you can't figure it out 5, 6 sprints on how much work your team can do, then you got parallel problems and it's all messed up and you're not doing a very good job. Just telling you right now. Maybe a little hard, but it's true. So here's the secret sauce. You start off with stories. Are they getting their stories done the way they wanted to in the first sprint? If the answer is yes, stay there. Don't worry about subtasks. Don't worry about tasks. Don't worry about hours. Don't worry about anything. Good to go. If the answer is no, start having them task out to work. Break down the tasks, right? What's the task on each story? So that would be the sprints 3 and 4. If they are getting their work done, yes, then stay at task level. Don't ever ask them for an hour estimate. It's not needed. If they're getting the task done, there's never a need to go into hour estimating. We just know the task and we know what we're going to do. If the answer is no, then you can start doing hours and say, well, how many hours do you think this task is going to be? Just an estimate. Because what you don't want to do is overestimate all that. Say it's going to take a lot of hours and there's not enough time in the week to get it done, right? So this is the secret sauce. This is the secret to getting your team ready. And as you see, it takes 6 sprints. I mean, some teams get it done in the first, second sprint. They're really home. Sometimes 3 or 4. So I usually stop at the task level. Other places, I go to the 5th or 6th sprint, start doing hours because they can't figure out what the hell they're doing before. They need more time spending analyzing what the work they're going to do. Secret PBIs. There you go. That's it. And I'll take a picture and post it. But that's the secret. So stay at the story level. They can get that done. Because all I'm looking for them to get the work done. If they get that done, thumbs up, good. They can't get that done. The next 3rd or 4th sprint, you start making them subtasks. The subtasks or tasks or breakdown of the stories. If they can't get all that through in the next 2 sprints, which again is 1 month, okay, then you might have to go down to hours and say, okay, look, it looked like we're breaking down this task, but we're still got way too much work. We need to go break down how many hours it's going to take to do these tasks. And if you can't figure out what your velocity is, what work you can do after 6 sprints, that's rough, man. So, but anyway, that's how you do it. That's the secret. It's the secret to doing all new Scrum teams, no matter what industry, no matter where you go, no matter what you do. That is it. Stories. They get it all done, stay there. If they can't get it all done, go to the task, subtask level, whatever you want to call it. And if they get it all done there, stay there. Don't need to go any further. They can't get that done. Then you go to hours, and they can't get it done after 6 weeks. Then your team is everything's screwed up. You got a lot of problems. So that's the secret of progression for a team. I guess you would call it regression, right? Ideally, a team only needs to worry about stories, and that's it. It doesn't need to break all the other stuff down. But that's what we got. All right. So we are not ready yet. We're almost done. Oh, it's been a 15-minute mark. Went too far. They thought I didn't have time. I forgot. Fortune Cookie Friday. So this is going to be an extra long episode. I'm trying to get it done within 18 minutes. We're 15:30, Bubbles. Fortune Cookie Friday. So the Agile accountants, which I talk about a lot. Look at that quality work. It's terrible. Has a message, an Agile message to us, buried in a fortune cookie. So that can't be seen. I got to get pearls. Whoa. Broke that sucker. All right. What do the Agile accountants tell us we need to talk about today? Interesting. Forgiveness does not change the past, but it does enlarge the future. So that's an interesting one. That's complicated. Forgiveness does not change the past, but it does enlarge the future. Oh, let's do at risk. Let's do trying things. So forgiveness does not change the past. So you experiment, you try, you push the envelope, and it fails. It blows up. It doesn't work. But it does enlarge the future by getting to that point where you made the mistake and had the failure. It gives you more opportunity to grow in the future. Because if you didn't try it, you wouldn't know, right? So then you tried it, you failed. You try it again after tweaking it so it works, and the future is enlarged. I think I go with that one. All right. Thumbs up. Happy Friday. Happy Scrumming. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. We'll be on the weekend. Still trying to figure out what to adjust sometimes. Make sure we get the message out there to everybody. And ring the little bell so you get notification when we go live. So it is Friday. Hopefully everybody's taking it easy and enjoy the day. Enjoy the weekend. And you all take care. All right. Take care. Bye. See ya. Bye.